Welcome to the Adam Savage Project. I'm Adam.
I'm Norm.
And
I'm Simone.
yes, hi Simone.
Yeah. Oh my God, you were doing the countdown to
welcome.
start the podcast, and just as you were starting to do it, my dog started barking at the door. Scraps! You menace, please.
Oh,
I love you so much, but you're a pain in the ass. Yeah. Hi.
I see you found a buddy for the lockdown.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, she's an 8-month puppy now. It's been so great, honestly. I mean, in my defense, I've been looking to get a dog for a year and have met so many shelter dogs. So it's not like it was like a quarantine whim. No judgment on people who get dogs that way, but it was definitely a longer decision than that. But it's been great. She's awesome and takes my mind off of things.
Well, so it's been I think well more than a year since you've been on the podcast. Am I right about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Time passes so fast and so slow at the same time.
I totally agree. It's like every weekend I look up and I'm like, it's the weekend already?
Yeah. But also
days
of the
like
week
the later
are
weeks
like
are moving faster.
Yeah. But also like the day of the week is losing meaning a little bit. Yeah.
You know, we're holding the weekends pretty sacred here and like sleeping in on Saturdays and Sundays, like with purpose.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So how have you been? What's going on? Give us the updates on the world of Simone.
Things have been really, really slow, and then everything started happening at the same time. So I have a new project that's coming out in the next couple of days, hopefully tomorrow. It's a musical instrument that I built out of teeth. Not real teeth, fake teeth. So I've just been like building stuff at the shop, and hanging out with my dog, and been really bad at posting on social media. I've just had no motivation to tell people what I'm up to, which is pretty bad because that's like my line of work. But it's been hard to like when you're not feeling very enthusiastic about your own life. I don't know if you guys have experienced it as well, but it's like I'm in sweatpants and with the dog that's barking at everything. Scraps, do you want to come here instead? Do you want to come here? So yeah, there just hasn't been that much to tell, and I feel like I've just gone silent.
Well, I mean, and that's actually what I'm curious about, because I'm feeling the same way, right? I everything is a sort of a motivation zapper, and right now we're in a heat wave. It's like 85 degrees in my office right here. I don't know if you're suffering through it, Simone. Is it?
Oh, it's why I'm sitting downstairs at my house and not upstairs, because it's just too fucking warm.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How have you found your output over the past 6 months versus before? I mean, I don't think you've ever spent so much time in a personal shop before, have you?
No, and I think that's what the thing, like the perk of quarantine is that I've traveled so much less, obviously, because usually, I mean, I travel like twice a month and do speaking engagements or I'm on shows, and now it's just been so chill, and I've just been able to be in overalls and hang out in the workshop. So it's actually been really nice. I feel like I haven't been living my life as like a builder until now. So that's been great. And just like having a lot of time to spend, because before there was this thing where I'd always feel guilty for spending time on projects and like rushing it. And now I'm like sorting screws. That's a great use of my time. So that part has really been nice. I feel like I've connected with making things and actually but that's also like stepping away from building shitty robots, because I used to just build like silly things, and now I actually want to make things that look nice and that function well.
And those are fundamentally different problems to solve. I mean, are you finding the extended time in the shop changes? Obviously problems can be easier to solve when you have more time to do it, but has there been any aspects of it other than time that have also changed your problem solving? Like what things you're going to tackle?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just wanting to put more time into things or like really put more effort. But I don't know. I feel like you're the master of this, of like building things on a schedule or like having really stressful deadlines and like even building for TV, but still being able to put time into it and do it really well. And to me, that's like either I do it on a schedule and I do it really fast, or I do it well, because also I'm like not a super fast builder. But I feel like you're just the like impossible Venn diagram.
It's simply institutional knowledge of the shortcuts I know that are available to me given the amount of time that I have.
Yeah.
So I'm able to load those dice because I've got 30 years of building experience, and like, if I won't be able to get to this, I know that's going to screw me. So I'm going to hire someone to finish that part and then bring it all, wrap it up all together.
And I also feel like part of the lockdown was almost like a reset for everyone. I don't know if it was like a permission for people to, because people were more lax in terms of, at least initially, deadlines and being patient about, where everyone was, in which we all are. But I enjoyed that aspect of it for sure, that it felt like, okay, if everyone's at home, everyone's working in there's no travel for sure. It was freeing in some way.
No, I mean, yeah, because I know that we talked about this at or like feeling guilty for spending time on things you care about.
Yeah, which is you always feel like you're stealing that time away from things.
Yeah, and it's like, because I've always felt really guilty, like putting a lot of time into building things that I don't have an end goal for, or like not doing things efficiently enough. But the fallacy about that, or the thing that really doesn't make sense about that, is that I don't feel guilty for like scrolling on Twitter. And that I have to justify that. Like, nobody's going to ask me, like, why are you spending time scrolling on Twitter? But if I spend time building a teeth wall, I mean, now I'm at a stage where people don't really question it because they're like, oh, Simone does what Simone does. But before, like, I always had to have a reason to do it. And I feel like you shouldn't need a reason to create things unless the things are really evil.
I got a version of this when I quit smoking about 10 years ago. I quit smoking several times, but the final time was about 10, 12 years ago. And one of the things that happened was I had no moments of reflection during the day because I wasn't going somewhere to take 5 minutes to do this thing that I did.
Yeah.
And I thought, it actually would be a really nice oscillation of anybody's day to say, I'm just going to step outside for 5 minutes and contemplate shit, as opposed to I'm going to step out for a smoke. But that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, get a puppy that's not housebroken, and you don't have to leave the house all the time, or you have to clean up pee. Also, I feel like it's a really good cue that it's time to clean your house when your puppy is very intently licking the kitchen counter. What is it that you write? I thought I wiped them down, but yeah.
How about, I know you said you've been bad at posting to social media, but has your interactions with fans changed, or the type of responses you've been getting from your viewers changed over the lockdown?
I mean, I feel like there's people who are still hanging in there, and I'm hoping to get into a better group. I mean, I've mostly just been talking to people on Patreon, to be honest. That's like the only place I'm trying to be really diligent about updating things. And also a big thing is that most of the communication has been around the Everyday Calendar, which is this Kickstarter project that I did 2 years ago. We finally shipped it to backers. You were one of them, Adam. Yeah.
I got mine. It is so beautiful, Simone. I just like this object just radiates care and attention.
I mean, it took a while, but it was, I just really wanted to do it right because it's an expensive product and it needs to be nice, But I feel like most of the conversations I've had with people online have been around the calendar, and people who are unboxing them or having questions or making custom projects for it. I open sourced it, so there's people who've made mods. Like somebody made functioning Tetris on it because it's essentially just a really low res screen. So they made it so you can actually play Tetris, or people have been making some really cool things. So it's mostly just been that, and it feels more like customer service than anything else, because there's like a few people who've had issues with their calendars and then like managing that. So it's definitely changed, because I also it's been so great. People have really been excited to get their calendars, and but it's always just like, I've been so terrified to send these out because you're like, I know
you've had so many hills and valleys with the process of getting here.
It's like an anxiety pit, like an endless anxiety pit that people pay you money because they trust you to pull something off, and you're like, yeah, sure, I can pull this off, but then it just takes longer, and you're like, I'm just terrified, like, what if something goes wrong and in a year all calendars break down, which is like, we have no indication that that's going to happen, but like you can only be 99.9% sure, and that 0.1% has a very good way at making itself look bigger. So yeah, a lot of it has just been like being online. I'm like, oh, I hope there's not somebody who's upset about their calendar. Not that like even the people who had problems. I mean, we had somebody like lose one in the mail, have been so sweet about it. But that's like, I'm just terrified that I'm like, the shit is about to hit the fan and it's going to be in my Twitter feed. That's where it's going to happen. But so far so good. And people have been super, super sweet.
In putting together a product, okay, first of all, I just want to say a little comment, which is I love the deep permission slip that your first big splash of making shitty robots gave to people of that perfect is the enemy of the done, and that freedom to explore. But making a really high quality product is so close to almost the polar opposite of that I love that you encompass both. And I know that you want to make more. I know that you want to make more things for people. Do you feel, I mean, and I imagine you've just gotten the most incredible crash course in making a product. If you could go back and tell yourself something 2 years ago, what advice would you give yourself that would make this process a little bit easier?
Give yourself more time. Like, I thought I'd padded the schedule so much. And yeah, I mean, it's the Kickstarter cliche of people like it always being late. I think that is one of the things I wish. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I don't want to do products again because it is like really painful. Yeah. And it's like, I think if I would have created a separate brand that wasn't attached to me and my face, maybe it would have been a little bit easier. But it's like, I very much like, it was such a personal project and very much was the face of it. And you're like, if this is going to go down, like if this goes poorly, like I'm going down with it. Like, it's not like I can just like throw this brand in the sink because I'm not Nicolas Cage and I can't just like switch out my face.
Do you feel like in the crowdfunding model, the journey, the 2-year journey is something that felt like it was, you know, with other people, that the backers were along with you with the updates, that it wasn't purely transactional?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why people are so sweet and excited now, because they've really seen the process. Like, it's so different to have backers versus customers. Right. Because they've really been there through it. And also a lot of people were familiar with me and my content before. And it was definitely, they were way more understanding and patient than I think other people would have been. But yeah, it's fun. But I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's like the polar opposite, like going from shitty robots to making try to make high quality products, because I feel like what I'm always doing is trying to break free of people's expectations. You know, and that's why Shitty Robot started, because it was always, I felt these like expectations of needing to make really perfect things. And then I'm like, screw that. I'm going to make things that suck. And now I really felt like people are just like expecting me to only make shitty robots. And I'm like, screw that. I'll show you. So I don't know what the next would be, making really mediocre, boring things.
Well, so the reason I phrase the question that way, because I agree with you, I don't think that they are polar opposites, but that is a classic interviewer would ask that exact question. What about this versus this? And part of me, the first pass of the question in my head was, well, ask Simone what she thinks about that dichotomy. And I think you're just playing with what's going on in here. The examination isn't nearly as important, right? Like, I love the fact that you're doing that you're following the muse to whatever you want to try. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I want to make stuff that I'm interested in. And that was, yeah, I mean, that really changes. And also as I get older, I mean, I've been doing this for the last 5 years and had a lot of different things happen during those years. And I think, like, of course you change. And I think that's one of the things, and that I'm really happy with, that my YouTube audience has been so tolerant with, is like following with you through the changes. Because you get stuck in a brand, like you definitely get pigeonholed, and people are like, you're the person who do this. And I feel like as I've kind of pivoted or evolved, people have just been along for it, because I think that they're just, yeah, I don't know.
There's a an amazing designer named Milton Glaser who passed away recently, and we should include a link to this talk in the comments, Norm. He gave a talk, Simone, a few years ago, and he was inordinately successful, like a world famous graphic designer. And late in his career, he did this wonderful talk where he said, when you get really good at something, people are going to ask you to do only that thing, and it's going to kill you and crush you. And so your goal as a creator is to not try and keep doing the same thing. You got to switch it up, because you won't advance if you just keep doing the thing you got successful for doing.
Oh God, pop artists, modern artists all the time, right? That's, they get stuck in that. Right. Which part of the product development journey did you find that you enjoyed the most? Prototyping, logistics, the product, the packaging design, or that you didn't know that you would enjoy, that you liked?
I think, just seeing the prototyping and seeing the product come together from, I did the first everyday calendar as a project for Tested, right? And it was just something I did for myself. Yeah. And it had 365 switches, which I tried to explore if it would work as a product, but the BOM cost is fucking ridiculous. Like, it would be like $1,000 product because you can't have mechanical switches, or 365 of anything gets really, really expensive. Just seeing it come together and kind of developing the use case for it, I really like. I like crafting the message for it and like doing all the graphic design for it as well. I've always thought of myself as aesthetically challenged. But I designed the front board, or the front plate of the everyday calendar, and
this beautiful thing. This made me so happy.
Yeah, and the packaging
what a welcome
slip.
tip of the hat this was.
Yeah. And the logo and everything. And I was always like waiting to pass it on to a designer and be like, no, I can't do this. Like, I need to pass it on to somebody. But then I would just start and sit with it and like be like, oh, this is the shot I have. I'm the CEO of the company. I can do this if I want to. So that was really nice. And then like seeing people use your product in the wild and use it in ways that you hadn't really expected, or that's just like so fun. Like, seeing photos of calendars in people's homes is everything. Like, that just makes me so happy and so proud. And then all the bits in between were pretty painful.
I remember when I was starting the bag company, Simone, the person who was setting it up with me said, hey, I need you. I'm really sorry, but we got to get this out by tomorrow morning. I need you to write a privacy policy. I'm sorry I'm asking you to do this. And I was like, are you kidding? I've waited my whole life to write a privacy policy that I can stand behind.
But it's kind of fun to be like, oh, I guess it's up to me to do this. And that's like definitely, we were definitely in like scrappy startup mode, where the everyday calendar was a really small team and everyone had to wear a lot of hats, and some that you definitely felt were too big for your head. But then you learn and you grow into it. And I think that was really, really fun, of just like getting to try out all the different parts. And I feel like that's also the privilege that I have running my own businesses and doing YouTube, is it's kind of like a buffet where you try out different things, or like different tasks and different jobs. And I'm like, oh, I really like that one. That was fun. And then I didn't really like that. And then that you can find other people to do for you. But it's really like, I get to try on all the different things and see which parts I actually enjoy. Like, I definitely do not want anything to do with supply chain. I don't even want to touch it with a stick like that. Well, no. But like prototyping, I definitely want to keep in house, and I want to be the one who says, no, let's move the button over there, or let's change the colors, or
fulfillment and tracking is a black art, man. I don't want any part of that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Norm here. I want to let you know that this week's episode of the Adam Savage Project is made possible in part with support from you out there, our listeners and our new channel members. That's right. We're launching channel memberships on our YouTube channel. You can go to our channel and click the join button to learn more, and you can back us directly to help us make our content, help us keep on making videos and builds during this lockdown and quarantine and going forward. You can support us as a Tested a supporter for $2 a month to get access to exclusive discounts on merchandise, badges, emojis, as well as our members-only Discord channel. Or you can become a tested patron, and I'll get you access to exclusive videos, peeks behind the scenes, the ability to ask questions, interact with us during live streams, as well as some new features like commentaries. We're going to go back and find old videos, old one-day builds, and have Adam rewatch them and provide some voiceover commentary to look back at how Tested has changed and what's happened to that build that he made maybe 8 years ago. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it all is possible because of you out there. So thank you so much, new channel members, and you can always find more information on our YouTube channel. Again, click that join button. But now, back to the show.
Is there, I know we're a long way from being, quote, past this, but is there something you've missed about COVID that you really look forward to besides just hugging your friends and hanging out and having dinner?
I mean, my family, I have a 6-month nephew that I haven't gotten to meet. Yeah, we have like the first grandchild in our family. I was the youngest person in our family up until 6 months ago, and I'm almost 30. So yeah, I haven't been able to go back to Sweden for almost a year. And usually I go back like 3 times a year to see my family. So that, and like seeing my grandma, she's sad and lonely and doesn't like being quarantined. So mostly, yeah, just seeing family and like honestly just meeting new people. I've been trying to like reach out to people or like acquaintances and like go for walks outside because I just crave seeing people that I don't know, and we don't really have a effortless way of doing that anymore. So that just getting to know people I miss. What about you guys? What about you, Norm?
You know, honestly, I'm so introverted. I think I had this conversation with someone I knew. Like yes, we make videos and we put ourselves out there, but the most uncomfortable I am is actually in person at conventions, at events, and so I've been relishing some, at home time and forced at home time with the kids. So
You've been getting a lot done in the house. You've been really, really doing some cool shit.
Lots of rearranging the office nonstop and putting together IKEA furniture. Who knew IKEA can ship you as much as you want to order for $50, which is insane. Yeah, I've had like 1,000 pounds of furniture in boxes come in, cardboard, MDF, and all for $50.
Oh my gosh!
Putting that together, yeah.
You're welcome, the world, from Sweden to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember reading that IKEA itself, its wood manufacturing, was a not insignificant percentage of world wood manufacturing.
Really?
Yeah, like that much.
That is crazy. Yeah.
But we're also, I mean, timing wise, I think the last time I saw you in person was probably at the Tesla Cybertruck event. It might have been, Simone, and that was like right at when you finished Truckla, right? Like that big kind of victory lap that you did with that, and it felt like if there was a time that we have to be locked down, it was after you'd completed that big project, and that felt very, very fortunate timing.
I mean, that's one of the things I really enjoyed about quarantine, because I was really squeamish about driving Truckla, because in part she's really recognizable, and it's like people know that I'm in the car, so if I drive like a dick, they'll know it was me, which I try to avoid in general too. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really drive her. I mean, I wasn't really taking her around the city, but when I couldn't take shared rides anymore, then I was really forced to start driving her and kind of breaking that dam or that river. No, breaking that. What am I trying to say? Breaking that barrier.
Opening the floodgates.
Opening the floodgates. Yeah. So I've definitely, I mean, she's been my daily driver, which is really fun. I mean, thoroughly impractical at points, but really fun. Yeah.
Can we talk about the big drive that you're about to make?
I bought a house. I get the keys in a week. Yeah. So yeah, I bought a house in LA and I'm moving down to LA, which I am so excited about.
That's super exciting. I'm gonna miss you, but I'll come down to LA and I will see you. And I'm sad that you're leaving San Francisco. I'm so excited for you.
I'm too. I mean, it's been hard to leave because I'm so comfortable here and I have so many good things going and so many good friends, but I've been looking to move down for a long time, and I've just been waiting for something to feel right. And yeah, and I just found this like magical house that I could kind of afford, and that has a really big workshop in the back. So yeah, we've just been packing up things. I've decided the weird concoctions that I have from being Savage or Savage Builds, the episode that I was on. I still have the like Scorpio tail and the weird spike stars that were on my car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw them away now. I'm ready. I'm sorry. I still have my winning goal or my winning target. So I feel like that's enough memorabilia. But I've just been sorting through things and packing up my house, and packing up the workshop is a fucking pain. Oh my God. There's so much stuff.
I can't imagine. I think about it all the time and I still can't quite imagine it.
How long have you been in the cave?
I've been here in the cave for almost 10 years.
Do you think you'll move?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a reason everything's on wheels.
Yeah.
And I am currently going through a massive purge of stuff between the shop storage and storage. We're throwing out truckloads of stuff to the dump almost every other week.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to refine so that when I have to actually do that move, it's much
You're more ready. Yeah.
And a million boxes for 900,000 categories of things. I'm trying to break it down to like 75 boxes.
Yeah. I feel like it must be even hard because for me, like most of the stuff in my shop is just junk, but like all of the stuff in the cave just feels so valuable.
Well, it's materials, right? It's making, again, every time I'm doing a shop infrastructure build, I'm also secretly thinking this will make it easier to move this whole portion of the shop when that has to happen.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited to set up the new shop, and like I want to bring in people to help like make it as easy as possible to film. Like I wish that there was a way to just push one button and everything was rolling and the lights, like everything was set up. Because
we talk about that all the time. Yeah, what that would be like. There's no way. I mean, like,
there's no way.
There is no way.
You still, I mean, I guess you could use robotic cameras and have someone sitting in a room, but that's not going to feel great.
But the thing is, I mean, I don't move that much. I mean, I do just a few different shots, and usually it's like intro, that's a piece to camera, and that, I mean, I usually are kind of in the same spot, and then it's like close-up shots of building, and that you can move around. But I just want to make sure that it's like really nicely, evenly lit, so I don't have to move around lights and stuff like that, and that I just have as easy of a setup as possible.
We'll get you connected with Joey because he's been doing a lot of that kind of setup too. And building,
he's like, down there.
He is down there.
I forgot, and he has the cutest child.
It's ridiculous.
It's like she gives me cute aggression. Yeah, because she's so. Don't tell Joey. That's a really weird thing to say, but oh my gosh, she's so cute.
It's ridiculous. But I mean, she comes from excellent stock. She's a beautiful child.
Yeah, nobody's shocked. Yeah, excellent stock. Yeah.
Scraps looks so adorable. She's so much calmer than when I first met her like 3 months ago.
Yeah, she's definitely, I mean, they just go through so much development but also she had such a rough start in life. I got her when she was 3.5 months and she's 8 months now. Yeah, she's definitely starting to settle in. She's so pesky though. Oh my God, she hates people. That's the tough part. Yeah, and it's hard to get around. But she definitely, if somebody were to come into the garden here, she would bark nonstop for 2 hours. So we're working on it. Yeah, definitely working actively on trying to change her frame of mind, but she does not like people.
Are you thinking about covering the move as a video piece potentially?
Ideally, I would have, but there's just too many things going on, and I haven't filmed any of the packing up right now. I'm hoping to film as I set up the workshop. Yeah.
You said that the video you're about to release is a musical instrument. Is there a point at which we're going to see different compositions from this musical instrument?
And now it's packed up in boxes. So, but yeah, maybe later I will happily send it to somebody with more musical talent than me, and they can play on it. It doesn't sound great, and it looks really eerie, but I think it's fun. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
You've been giving me little hints of the build as it's been going. I can't wait to see the finished thing.
It's weird. It might be, I mean, it's a long list of things, but it might be one of the weirdest things I built.
I'm super glad for that.
Yeah. No, it was a really fun build, actually. I'm enjoying building things more than I think I ever have. Yeah.
That's really awesome to hear. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's
Is there a tool that you're especially gravitating toward and that you will have the prime position in your new shop?
I've just been laser cutting so much stuff. That's really my go-to prototyping tool. And I definitely want to make a better metal fabrication station and like have welding, and also get a proper like cabinet maker. I want to get one of those saw stop, really nice table saws, because that's like my next tool that I really want to conquer. I'm still terrified of table saws. I think there's footage somewhere of I was cutting a sheet of plywood in the cave like years and years ago, and it flew off the saw and like boomeranged. I don't know if I ever told you that.
I don't know if you ever told me that, but I believe I just used that piece of wood.
Really?
I just pulled a piece of wood about this big out of my stock shelf that has this humongous circular cut that could only be a kickback. And I was like, oh, I can put that on the outside of the drawer and no one will ever see it.
That might be me. Because I think it was when I was building the giant applause machine. And I think it was Gunther who was filming it. And I was like, put it in the blackmail folder.
Table saw kickbacks are the most terrifying thing ever.
It is so scary.
I've had a few over the years, and they're awful. And I hate the table saw. I love it, and I'm terrified every time I use it.
I'm so scared when I use it. I think having a saw stop would help with that fear. Or just, kickbacks can still happen, but just knowing that it wouldn't cut my finger off. Yeah. But that I really want to get better at that and do some really nice wood projects. Yeah. But
we all want to be Jesse Pinkman from the end of Breaking Bad. In his head, he's just always doing in that perfect box. Yeah.
Do you have in your head some inkling of an idea about the next product you want to make is?
I have two things in the pipeline that I'm working on, and I just had tunnel vision with the Everyday Calendar and getting it out to our Kickstarter backers. So I haven't really let myself indulge in other ideas, because I know also if I fall in love with something else, I'll just go in that direction. But there's two projects that I have in the pipeline and that I'm really excited about. One of them is a maker kit, but that's actually ends up being something really pretty, which I'm excited about, because I feel like maker kits are usually like look really hacky or are for kids. And I feel like there's this category of like craft where people actually buy kits and make things that are really beautiful end products, but it never has like electronic components. Really, it's more like carve a spoon or like do like paint by numbers or something like that. So yeah, I'm excited to lure people in with a really finished or pretty finished product, but then I tricked them. They need to build things. Yeah.
Simone, you are one of the people who inspires me the most.
Right back at you, Adam.
I really appreciate the open way in which you approach all this stuff with like an eye towards, well, let's see what happens rather than here is what I need to happen. It's an impressive frame to have.
It's all about being okay with uncertainty. Yeah.
Which is so awful.
It is. I know. And that's the thing where you're like, why didn't I enjoy that step more? And you're like, because I wasn't sure if it was going to work out or not. And especially doing like difficult things, you never know if it's going to go to hell. I'm trying to be better about that. And especially like quarantine is the perfect time to try to become friends with uncertainty, because all this stuff is out of our control, man.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
turns out to be a lot more tenuous than we thought.
Yeah.
Well, Simone, thank you so much for joining us today. It's so good to see you, my friend. Good luck on the move to LA, and let's have you back on the podcast in 3 months and check in and see how it's going.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I can't even imagine where I will have turned 30. I turned 30 soon, or November 1st. So soonish. But yeah, there's just so many things happening.
You are almost precisely the age of the amount of time I've lived in San Francisco.
Oh wow. You moved here in
I moved here in the
1990?
summer of 1990.
Oh wow. November 1st, 1990. Yeah. Crazy.
I was probably watching television on Broderick Street at the moment you were being born.
Yeah, because that would have been the middle of the day in Swedish time. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, Simone, I stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Take care, both of you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.